Okay, back again for Monday Night Inking. Welcome everybody who's going to be showing up shortly. I hope. Oh wow, already people are hopping in. Hello everybody. I saved this face for you guys. I'm going to be working on it here. So get the containment line. Let's see. Nice and heavy for the containment. One Arthur 5 says, "This is awesome." Well, thank you. I literally just started. I'm glad you're so easily pleased. Makes my job easier. There's Mikey. Hey, Mikey. So keep this containment line big. The light source is coming from here. So whatever is wrapped away from the light is going to be a heavier line. Oh, no, wait. I was wrong. Obviously with the shadows, so my light source is coming from here. I might need to bring that down then. I got my light source wrong. So that means this side is a heavy line. Probably come back and bulk it up a bit afterwards. I like to make a few passes just to make sure I'm comfortable with how it's building. Mikey B says, "Clara, what kind of brush is that?" This is my new favorite baby. This is the Zebra double-sided brush pen. If you look in my tools highlight reel on my profile, it's the last one because it's the newest edition. I absolutely love this pen. The only issue I have with it is it bleeds a little bit, but if you give it a second to dry, it's no problem. And a lot of tools behave like that, so, you know, not a huge complaint. But yeah, I love this one. Very similar to Natural Brush. Mikey says, "On it, I'll buy that ASAP." Thank you, thank you. Do what you want, dude. If you think it's going to work for you, obviously, go for it. They're pretty cheap, too. They're like, I think like $8. And they last a while. I mean, that depends on how hard you use them, of course, but still. Kind of warm today. I wasn't prepared for how warm it was going to be now that it started to be genuinely cold here in Sioux Falls, and it's a little bit uncomfortably cozy in my studio because I had the heat on, you know, what I expected it to be on for a person who didn't check the weather. So now I'm reaping the benefits of that. Now it feels mildly summery again. Brow stuff. Been really leaning into brow expressions and eyebrows lately. Mikey says, "Yeah, it looked like one of those big disposable ones." Oh, Kim Jong-ji uses. Yeah, he uses some cool stuff, but I like this finer tipped one myself, just from my personal experience. One Arthur is perplexed with my temperature complaints. I mean, here in the Midwest, all we do is complain about the weather. was warmer than it has been for the past few days at least. That's all. I shouldn't complain. It'll be plenty cold, plenty long enough, plenty soon enough. Alright, this side of the hair is shadowed. What was I saying before? Well, let me finish the containment line. I was talking about the brow expression, but let me get this laid in here. Okay. Yes, anyway, so I was talking about brow expressions, like the furrowed brow here. Been studying how to do eyebrows better. Eyebrows are one of the many things I've been faking. Need to be more knowledgeable about it. With anatomy studies and practice and whatnot. There's knowing how to make something look okay, and then there's actually understanding it, you know? Oh, Andrew J. Brown joined. Hello. One Arthur says, it's 1 a.m. Gotta go. Bye. Y'all take care of yourself. You too. Get some rest. All the information around the eye. So many tiny things you can say around the eye. They all add so much, but you gotta pick and choose. That's a bit much. Just minimize that a little bit. There we go. Just slightly. Alien Space joined. That's a great name. I like that. All right, let's see. Get some of the shadow under the nose here. A little bit of a render there. Everton, thumbs up. Thank you, thank you. All right, some of these mouth details. There's shadow on that side of the lip there. Some of this under lip shape here. There we go. So there's some shadows on this side of the face. I have to decide how to handle those. I sort of have it figured out in the pencils, but there's always a step where you have to figure it out again in the inks. this. And under the chin, there's going to be some sort of gloom lines down there. This is a sad panel he's contemplating. Should finish the mouth. I should stop jumping around. All right, the teeth. Weight of this line basically communicates how lifted off the teeth that lip is. All right, let's do down here. I never bother with penciling the teeth in unless it's like very close up, because it's much easier to just do that in inks if you can see them at all. And that's literally plenty. Okay, fill that in there. Let's fill in the nose real quick before I forget. A little bit more. That could be heavier. So that's the shadow side. So there's some shadows happening there. Coach Craig's BS. Go. Maybe a little bit up here. Can always take it out if it's not good. Oh, that works. I could clean it up a little bit. It does work, I think. Yeah, let me clean that. Well, it needs to dry a little bit more before I clean that out. So let's see. Let me fill the mouth in, see how that looks. Okay, got that going for us. Let me get some of this neck rendering, just a little bit. In fact, there's going to be enough of a cast shadow that we can put the collar into solid black over there. I'll fill that in with something else. This could be heavier. There we go. Dax Art says, heyo. Heyo to you too. Good to have you back. All right, I'm going to be brave and try to do this sort of cheekbone render I laid in here. Might be terrible, but if it is, I can always take it back out. No, that's working pretty well. Looky there. Shadow the nose there a little bit. Okay, how we doing over here? Let me finish this hair because that intersects with parts of the brow here. I want to get that out of the way. This character is blonde, so I don't really have to render the hair very much. You don't want to make it read like it has a value, like it has a, you know, a darker value than it does. But a little bit on the shadow side will help communicate the turn of the light. Sanson Art Join, thank you. So those of you that follow me know I had a pretty cool weekend. I was fortunate to have been invited out to Brookings Books and Comics in Brookings, South Dakota, which is nearby me, one of my more local shops, for a signing of that Devil's Red Bride cover that I did, that I posted a while back. It ended up being a real hit. It was really humbling and an honor and exciting to just to be there and see how well received it was and see how widely it had sold. I didn't realize how widely it sold. They were telling me they'd been shipping it to Canada and Hawaii and just all over the place. I was very surprised. It was very exciting. And in December, I get to do that again with the Knock 'em Dead cover I did, with that spooky cover I did, that I also posted recently. Carlos Monzon says, oh, nice. Firehawk says, mine shipped today. Let's see. Okay, more on the side of the nose. This is a shadow side. There we are. That's coming across nicely. I'm worried about this rendering here. Thinking. No, I'm just gonna go for it. Make sure I have a nice point. There we go. I may tweak that later. We'll see. This needs to be bumped up. This needs to be solid. Bump up the other one too. JK Moosh says, I love your artwork. Thank you, JK. John Jameer? I'm sorry, I can't pronounce anyone's names properly. Says hello. Hello to you too. All right, let's see. I left myself a note about the eyebrows because I was studying eyebrows this morning to do them better. Brow render first, then contain. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I always struggle with blonde eyebrowed characters because basically you can't just do a good solid, black shape and call it the eyebrow. You gotta do like a halfway. So I was thinking of rendering them like that first and then seeing just how much containment line I needed, because I'm on an uptick of learning all these new things now. It seems to be working. So I guess wherever the, which way is the light? The light's coming from over here. So let's have whatever's turning away from the light have a containment line. So a little bit over there. I need to not hit the front so hard. But that seems to work. That's working. Andrew J. Brown says, those eyebrows, chef's kiss. Well, they're getting there. I appreciate the enthusiasm. And this side of the hair can have some internal shadow because it's wrapping around the head. There we go. I can bulk up this other eye. Bulk this up, a little bit of shadow here. Anything that has form creates shadow. So I'm gonna, Elise Satrowski. So many cool people on my stream. Can't even handle it, the pressure. All right, I'm gonna bulk up the irises here, and I'm gonna use a pen for that. Just need a nice dead line. That's too big. A 1 will do. Bulk these up, and you want to bulk up the side. I'm gonna say away from the light. There's technically some viscosity rules with eyeballs about where the shadow technically falls, but I'm gonna be a little more literal on this one because it reads a little more naturally sometimes. It depends on the lighting. So bulking those up. And down here. J.K. Moosh says, have you published any comic books? A couple, yes. I did. I drew Shadow Play for Scout Comics. I drew Midnight Vista for Aftershock Comics. I did an adaptation of The Conqueror Worm, the Edgar Allan Poe poem that I self-published and kickstarted. And I've done a number of variant covers that were limited edition, so I don't know how, generally speaking, how available they're going to continue to be, but that's a generalization. But generally speaking, yes, I've published a number of things. I've been very blessed so far in my career. Let's see. Hey, Wheeler's here. Wheeler just says Swamp Lights. Yeah, dude, Swamp Lights is so old, I don't even sell that thing anymore. I appreciate your fandom, though. Swamp Lights I made in school. That was a school project. Let's see. I'll put some rays in the eye here. I do still think about Swamp Lights, though. Every now and then I think about revisiting that world. Do you remember the name of the character, Wheeler? I still like her name. Wheeler says, I got 3 that you listed and love them all. Waiting for the next one. Hopefully by Christmas you sell it. Oh, you mean the ones I just talked about? I know the variant cover I did for Knock 'em Dead is coming out in December. So we'll see about that one. Elise asks, do you miss school at all? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are times. It was good to be, in a place where you can shop talk and like everyone gets the art jokes and that kind of thing. But for the most part, I would say I'm glad to be done with that part of my life. I'm old to be dealing with that sort of thing these days. I was older when I went back to school, so it was not like a typical school experience. But it was a wonderful experience either way. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Firehawk says, another one I need to find. Hey, just let me know. Half the time I have some of these, I can send them to you. Let's see. Wheeler says, I do not, but I have Conqueror Worm on display. Thank you. Swamp Lights left me wanting more of the story. It was unique overall. Thank you. Yeah, maybe someday. Goodness knows I have so many different things clanging around in my head that I want to work on. If you're watching my my Instagram stories, I have that writing project I talk about every day. That's another short one I want to do. But, you know, obviously 20 minutes a day is not a lot. I'm into the character designs now, which is the stage that comes after the writing. So I have the story all worked out. But goodness knows when I'll be able to kickstart that one. Well, start working on it, get it like halfway done, and then kickstart it. So who knows? But what matters is that I'm just chugging away at it. All right, what am I thinking with this one for now? Wheeler says, what if I ask every single live stream? I mean, tisk tisk, then you just be yourself, sir. JK Mooch says, what characters do you like drawing the most? I mean, that's such an open-ended question. Like, of the ones I've already worked on, or just, I mean, I guess it would have to be ones I've already worked on. That's a really hard question to answer. I genuinely don't know. Because, you know, they all have things about them that I like. I really liked drawing Oliver from Midnight Vista. He was a little cutie. But I also really like tougher characters. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't have an answer to that question. I try to find something likable about everything I do, you know? I don't always have a lot of choice. You know, sometimes it's a commission or, you know, a project that, you know, I wasn't involved in the story at all. So it's just handed to me and I get to decide if I'm going to have a good attitude about it or not, basically. And a lot of that just comes from deciding to find what's enjoyable about it. All right, I think I'm going to leave this here for now, but I'm going to do the rendering down here. So there's a few things. I'm going to pull this down. Lisa Flynn joined, one of the cool people. Let's see. Wheeler says, you seem to have more fun with animals, like the moles and the rabbits. I mean, I definitely have fun with them. Animals have always been, ironically, kind of easy for me. So it's sort of a different headspace. It's more just like sort of fun doodling. But I enjoy the end results better when I've successfully drawn a human, if that makes sense. I definitely enjoy the animals, but I think humans are more rewarding and take a lot more work because you have to actually get them right, as opposed to animals where you can make up a lot of it. If you're doing anthropomorphic animals in particular, like, you can decide the rules. There's more things to conquer in your readers, I think, when drawing a human, just making them seem relatable. The readers know exactly what humans look like. They look at one in the mirror every day. But they're willing to accept all sorts of suspension of disbelief for something like, you know, an anthropomorphic mole. All right. I don't know if I'm crazy about this rendering yet, but I will come back to it. I am going to... Whoa! Made a mess. I am going to get out the nib and do the up rendering on here, because that is fun to watch. It's very satisfying. All right, let's see. I got my tiny Maru nib there. This is very, very sharp and very hard, so it's like a dead line. Got my ink. If I can get it open. There we go. I was about to be embarrassed. I can't open my own ink. Okay. Let's see, is this straight? Doesn't always print straight. Yeah, that's straight enough. Okay. Dip this. There we go. And let me give myself a guideline real quick. So it kind of, just gonna say it comes like that. Is it like that? No. Well, this is better. Y'all will understand what I'm doing in a minute. Sorry if you don't. Shouldn't assume you don't. No. Looking over here at my pencils where I had these previously done. Looks better on there. Oh, come on. Come on, you. Stop it. Your own page misbehaves. All right, so it was like that. Sort of there. And it just peters out there. Okay, that one looks okay. You ever think about doing a scene with another artist on the same sheet? Like Anthony Weiner draws Wally and you draw a character and you make a scene together with them. I mean, the honest answer to that is probably no. I don't know if I've ever thought about that. I know that's a thing people do from time to time, like sort of as a novelty. But no, I don't think I have. All right, here we go. These can be a little bit sparse. Let them get thicker at the bottom. See, that's going to be nice. Oh, Andrew J. Brown has audio now. The turning point in every live stream. Andrew getting his sound back. Sorry, dude, I shouldn't make fun of you. Hope it didn't come off that way. There we go. Oh, there we go. See how many I got out of just that one dip? All right, gotta fix that one because now it's weird shaped. Here we go. Excuse me. I've got 9 people watching right now. It's a lot for one time. Yeah, this part is pretty satisfying. There we go. Andrew says, nah, it is funny. Oh, well, good. Good to hear. Yeah, especially with things like time zones. You can't cater to everyone, unfortunately. End of the day, I just got to do what works for me over here. My little studio. My crazy schedule. My gosh, what a crazy weekend I had. It was all over the place. It was great. And I made a surprisingly good amount of money on Saturday. I was very happy and pleased with how well that signing went. I never know what to expect at signings. Sometimes they're really dead. But I had some really good people promoting this one, so I guess I should have showed more confidence in them. a little sparse here as they fade out. All right. Do I want one in there? I might. Let me see. Andrew says, what kind of tape do you have on the back of that T-square? Or is that simply a section, or is it in your supply section in your stories? Same kind of tape I have around the edge here. It's just artist tape. Really all I did here was, you can see I folded a strip of tape to give it some bulk, and then taped it on with another piece of tape. Basically just for things like what you were just seeing, so that the ink doesn't bleed underneath. You just need to lift it up off the page a little bit. A lot of rulers come beveled, like my, is this one? This one isn't beveled. That's not a very good example. But, you know, having a little lip on the edge so that your inks don't slide under the ruler and smear. But yeah, that was just a little hack I did on that to keep it from smearing. And yes, that kind of tape is pretty widely used. It's just called artist tape. It looks like masking tape, and it's called artist tape, which just means it's slightly less tacky, you know, sticky on the back than regular masking tape, which would definitely tear most art if used like this. So it's just very useful for drawing and the drawing process. Elise says, what is your favorite color? Girl, you're just setting me up. You know perfectly well what my favorite color is. And I get to ink with it all the time. Okay, let me see. Are these dry enough? All right. So I think I'm going to, well, hold on. Oh, Joey Teeth, I didn't answer your question. What was the script direction for this panel? Let me see. I could feasibly go look it up, but that would be boring for you all. I'm pretty sure, oh, I smeared here. Let me get my eraser. Sometimes these are salvageable. Yeah, I can mostly make that go away. Honestly, I think it just said, like, the character looks sad and talks about sad things. I don't remember exactly. I was relying more on the thumbnail at this point. I did check it this morning, but I don't know why I don't remember now. It's just a moment of like sad contemplation. And I chose to do a close-up because, you know, to allow it to focus on the emotion. And we hadn't had a close-up in a while. A good close-up really breaks up a page nicely, assuming you don't rely on them too much, which is some people's problem. Definitely not my problem. I need to do close-ups more often. Okay. Elise laughed. Yeah, you know. Wheeler says, but, oops, hold on. Go away. Okay. There we go. I opened the wrong thing. Wheeler says, but black isn't a color, right? My understanding is that black is all the colors. So, who knows? We could talk semantics and split hairs about that all day, but we all know what I like. My nails don't give anything away. My nails that I do just for you all. Elise says, what is your favorite emotion to draw? That's a fun question. What is my favorite emotion to draw? I don't know if there's one specifically, but just like very extreme ones. Like I love a good extreme rage or a good extreme sorrow. When you get to really push it, that's when it gets really fun. It's surprisingly difficult to do a relaxed neutral expression. You know, when the eyebrows aren't doing anything extreme and the mouth is just calm. That's very difficult, and honestly, it can be very boring too. So Yeah, I like the emotions running high. It's very fun to draw. Clean those out a little bit there. Andrew's getting into semantics here. If you combine every color to make black, then the result is the color black, so it is a color. All right, you win. Not going to argue with you. Let's see. Wheeler says, in your black letter jacket I've seen you in back when you lived in Minnesota, and black pants. Oh, and black shoes, LOL. Yeah, you know. You know the whole story. Ooh, what was your favorite panel to illustrate in Midnight Vista? That's a very good question. My favorite panel. Towards the end, when they had the standoff outside the mom's home, and there was the detective character who I was in love with, I got to do some fun, like, lighting on his face. I really, really enjoyed some of those panels. And really, like, any aspect of that shootout was one of the hardest things I've ever drawn, because there was like 9 cop cars and everyone had guns and everything was moving around and just like whirling around with the camera. So I had to compose that whole scene in such a way that it worked for every shot that was going to happen, which is often the case, but not always. And this one was a particularly busy scene. And, like, you know, guns going off, so I need, like, explosion effects and everything. So that was really very scary, but very fun. And I really enjoyed some of the lighting I ended up doing in those scenes, because that was some of the first time I did, like, really hard shadows on the face and things like that. And it encouraged me. Oh, no! Firehawk says no spoilers. Yeah, nobody spoil anything important. Can't give away too much. Hold on, I will see. One of the freakiest panels I've ever seen was issue 2, Midnight Vista. The freakiest panels? Well, without getting too spoilery about it. Yeah, there's some that are definitely very freaky. Between the one thing that's freaky and the other thing that's freaky in that story. And it's hard to talk no spoilers. Yeah, but I loved the freaky stuff. That was fun. Joey T says, I loved the, well, I won't read it out loud, the 2-page spread from issue 2. I think that's from issue 1. But yeah, I know the one you mean. Elliot has that spread. I gave it to him for Christmas last year because I knew he wanted it, and it's and he couldn't buy it at the time, so I just gave it to him. What was I gonna say? That was the first thing I knew about Midnight Vista, that it would have that spread in it, that fun little trick spread, because it was even in the treatment. When they offer you a script, often what they'll do is they'll just give you what's called a treatment. Well, I should say often. I've only done this a few times, but in this case, they gave me a treatment, which is just sort of a quick synopsis, quick overview of the story. And in that case, the only thing he specified artistically when talking about the overview of the story was that he wanted to have that spread, that night and day, past future spread. Yeah, I've started enjoying using the nib for square things. J.K. Mooch says, how much are your commissions? You'll have to look on my dealer's website. It depends on what you want. If you go to my profile, or my profile page here on Instagram, and click the link tree, there is a button for commissions, and that should take you to the website where you can see the commissions all broken down and their different prices. This was fun. I had to go back over this a few times to get the line weight to really feel dynamic on here. Let's see. I'm going to give this enough of a gap. It's fun trying to imply strong light coming from a black thing, if that makes sense. It's not normally how light works, but I think the effect is coming off well. Elise says, big fan of Clara's commission work. Yeah, you got one of the last ones that I dealt with directly before I switched over to my art vendor. Which is comicconart.com, I believe, for those interested. A lot of people represented on there. They do some nice work. Yeah, and I just got 2 commissions from them today, so it's a good amount of work stashed up. So we'll see how that goes. Ugh, that didn't work. I can leave it pretty subtle though, because of how the light's going to be working. There's going to be lots of rays out here. I'm going to radiate out from here, and then I have to have, then I'm going to lay in more swarms of nanites. That's what this shape here is for, because if you see the little pencil shape, I have a swarm coming in here, because by the time down here, they all fly into the vortex. Let's see. Where do I want to go from here, if anywhere? You know what, folks? I'm going to call it a night right now because I got a few more things I have to do, some emails I have to write. But thank you for stopping in. I think this face is working for now. I may do a little bit more to it. It may render a little bit more around the hair. I'm not sure. Again, this character is very blonde, so it's hard to know how much to shadow the hair sometimes. Otherwise, though, I think we're off to a good start with this one. Thank you, everyone who stopped by. It's always great seeing you guys, and I will see you guys next week.